Hey everyone, welcome back to Melody Ever After. Today we're going to be doing a tech review. You guys know that I have qualms with the PS5 controller and I'm always looking for alternatives. So I'm going to be doing a product review. The VICTRIX Pro BFG wireless modular controller. Immediately there were two things to me that stood out on this product. And if you look at the back here, you can see, first of all, it is modular. These pieces switch in and out. We've got different options for different types of gaming. And then also that rich lilac color, that is so cute. I know that color is not exactly the most important thing. I know that aesthetics are not like the most important thing when it comes to a controller, but I'm really excited to try this out. I've never used a modular controller before, and I really don't know much about it, but I'm really excited. Let's dig in. Kind of sounds like some stuff is rattling around in there. I don't know if that's like supposed to be. Okay. Oh my god. That is so cute! One thing that is unique about this controller, it's called the VICTRIX, but it is officially branded by PlayStation. Up until this year, I do not believe that there were any alternative controllers besides the Project Leonardo that was branded by PlayStation. The main thing that inspired me to do a controller review in the past is because I have really small hands, and I'm not trying to be a pick-me. Like, I'm really not. Like, that's not like... I hated, like, it felt like I was straining. Like, my hands would be, like, trying to reach the buttons, and it was, like, hurting this part of my hand right here. Like, this was the worst. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, I originally started this product review on controllers because I have really small hands, and it's difficult for me to hold the DualSense controller, but as a lot of you have commented on my last video, it's also really difficult for people with really large hands as well. So that kind of begs the question, whose hands is the DualSense made for? It's not made for people with tiny hands, and it's not made for people with really large hands. So I guess congratulations to all the normal Normans out there who have normal-sized, perfectly average hands. You guys are winning at life, and I guess this might work great for you. I don't really know. But this is the DualSense for comparison. And then just to spice things up, this is my Razer Wolverine. So as you can see, when you compare them, as we went over in the last video, the Wolverine is a little bit wider than the DualSense, but the difference is the hand placement. As you can see, the hand placement on the DualSense is going to be a lot lower, meaning you have to scoot your hands up a lot further on the device, and it flares out a lot more at the bottom, which is what's causing that cramping right there for me, me specifically. Whereas the Wolverine here is a lot narrower at the bottom. It's wider in general, but the spread from each little peg here isn't as far as the DualSense. So if I were to hold it, my hands reach the buttons a lot more comfortably. Easier. It feels a lot more ergonomic in my hand. It feels like it's more so designed to fit the hand a little bit better. Now let's have a look at the VICTRIX BFG Pro controller by PDP. Before we get into the modular bits of it, I do also want to take note, it also has some programmable buttons on the back. This is going to be super helpful if you are a PC gamer and you like to use controllers with your PC. We've got this little switch right here that switches things to and from what device you want to use, for example, PS5, PS4, or PC. Then, of course, we have our little dials right here. This is going to be a more quick time reaction type of trigger. It's going to have a lot more controllability. This is the shallower trigger click or bumper click, whatever you call them. I call them triggers and I call these bumpers. I don't know if that's what they're called. I'm not like a pro gamer. Sorry guys. I just review things. But the triggers here have a shallow function, and then actually it's a little bit difficult, whereas on the Wolverine all you have to do is flip these switches, which is super easy to understand. On the VICTRIX you're going to have to hold slide that over. If you can see, we're gonna slide that over and then press in, and that's gonna activate. See, it's not really. There we go. Okay, so what you do is you slide it over hold the trigger, release, and that's going to activate the function to where you get those long presses. This is going to be more interactive if you're playing some kind of role-playing game or something to where you're going to have to like have a slower reaction. I don't know. I prefer the long presses. It's just more satisfying on games like, I play a lot of Baldur's Gate, so I prefer the long presses on games like Baldur's Gate where it doesn't matter super a ton. Faster games, for example, fighting games, Minecraft, things like that, where you have to use this trigger a lot, I do prefer the shorter. So it is nice to have that option to where you can switch between the shallow and the not shallow. So just for reference, here's the difference is the shallow versus the long. So first things first, it came with this cute little wrench, this little Allen wrench. It's purple. And it also came with what's called a fight pad. The R1 and R2 are buttons now. I'll give you a closer look at that fight pad. We PlayStation fans know you've got square, X, circle, triangle, R1, and R2. I actually do not know how I would implement that in real life. Like I know that I probably would get used to it, but trying to figure out how I'm gonna implement that into actual gaming is a little bit confusing, but let's get a little satisfying moment. Let me get you real close to the mic. Hang on. That wasn't satisfying at all. Now here we have our fight pad. I do like the sound of those buttons a lot better. I feel like this would be really, really nice for games like, obviously, fighting games. Shocker! I think this would be really nice for games like Mortal Kombat. I would probably think it makes the most sense to like replace it with this bit right here. But as you know, PlayStation and Xbox have different setups where the D-pad is in comparison to where the toggle dial, the joystick, that's the word I'm looking for, where the joystick is. Okay. Oh, that's snazzy. It has the little joystick and the D-pad, the directional pad. I like that purple. I'm just loving the purple. I'm eating that purple up. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this plate. There are options for D-pads. So I'm just gonna toy around with this and unscrew this part and see if I can switch out the D-pad that way. Okay, there is the Joy-Con right there, the little joystick. And then, yep, so this is a 4-way directional. As you can see, the switches, it is 4-way. It does have a D-pad option for fighting where it will press 2 at the same time. I feel like I'm gonna break this. New content, new topic for the video. Melody breaks a brand new controller. Got it. So basically, there are 3 parts that are white. I thought this was all one piece. I'll pop it back in so you can see. So essentially when it snaps in just like Legos. That's great. When it was in the controller, it was snapped together like this, but this back to the D-pad that actually pushes down on the switches actually comes off, okay? And that's where we can do the interchangeable D-pad. So I really like this guy right here. It's got some raised texture to it, as you can tell. Oh, would you look at that? It's a little sticky. Oh yeah, much better. I just had it in wrong somehow. That's really cute. So I'm gonna screw all those little black things back in, just because I love that little D-pad. That is so cute. It also came with some different sticks. I call them sticks. Little joysticks. The little grippies that go on the top of the joysticks. Let's see if we got any different ones. We've got a convex one here. This one is concave. The stock one is concave with a little bit of texture. Let me get it in the... There we go. It's concave with a little bit of texture on the inside, so I feel like that would be really good for me. I'm just gonna leave that there. But we've got this one that is concave, or convex, sorry. It's domed. Then we have a longer one, if you are into that. I personally like them being the same height. I know some people prefer a long one. This one is probably for shooting games, you know, targeting in, zoning in. And it's got a little bit of, it's concave as well with a little bit of texture, so you can see it dips inward. But that's cute. We're gonna screw those little black dots in there, and black dots. We're gonna screw those little black screws in there and get back to work. You can do similar to PlayStation or Xbox. This is how my Wolverine is, so I might just leave it like that. As you can see, the Wolverine is a PlayStation controller. It comes in Xbox too, but the Wolverine is a PlayStation controller that I have that models kind of the original Xbox layout to get that nice and tight. Let's take a look at these in comparison of size. Ooh, I'm gonna say that this one's a little smaller. Small hand gang, rise up. Oh yeah, she's skinny. Maybe I'm insane. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Look. I think that this one is a little bit smaller. This might be a certified winner for the small hand gang. I'm liking this. I thought it felt smaller. Let me see. I think it feels smaller. Great, wonderful. So now the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at the fight pad. I'm going to say that I have been looking at some reviews, and because this is a modular piece, I'll show you, but the fight pad here, the actual hardware reads this little chip right here, and that is what determines if it knows which piece is in and how it's going to run because of its modular function. I have seen a lot of people say that because they don't sell the modules individually, if a module goes out, gets stick drift, buttons stop working, whatever, they can't replace the module because stores don't sell it, so they just have to get an entirely new controller. With this thing tapping out at about 180 bucks, got mine at Best Buy. I don't think that's very bueno. I think that's kind of a bad solution. You would think that there would be a better way of, you know, going about that. I've had a lot of people say that their VICTRIX have crapped out in 2 months based on their website reviews. So we'll see. As we've talked about before, this is definitely the smallest controller though.